How's it, guys? This is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video we're going to be talking about the Game Week 36 plus team selection, as well as taking a look at how the squad got on in Game Week 35. Apologies if the voice is sounding a little bit rusty. I am recording this on Tuesday morning, so a couple of hours before I usually record, but hopefully it's not too bad. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So the deadline with Davy's stream is kind of something that's changing every single hour. I'm having it, then I'm not having it. I think the main kind of concrete evidence for not having it is that this video is hopefully going to cover most talking points and most decisions that you guys do make. I know it'll be more focused at my own squad, but we will be talking about captaincy right at the end to hopefully help you guys make your own captaincy decisions. But kind of what I've agreed on now is I'm either not going to have it or I will have it, and it will be about 40 minutes or 30 minutes before the deadline, just so I do get your questions out. But as I said, the factors are that this video hopefully will cover your talking points, and there are some other external factors as well. But I will let you guys know either in the comments down below or on my Twitter page at DayvyFPL if we will be definitely having one and at what time it will be on. So keep those tweets on notification. But let's get into the team. So Game Week 35 was a relatively okay game week, if I have to put it like that. At the start of the game week, I think if you asked me if I would have a 500k red arrow, I probably would have said it was a bad game week. But at the end of the game week, I'm a little bit content with it. Main reason being assets like Sterling absolutely popped off. And then my captain Bruno Fernandes didn't do as well as I'd like. And obviously the Liverpool assets also didn't do too well. I will be talking about that in that whole team review. But overall now we are 4.4k in the world. Not a relatively bad rank to be in. Obviously I would have liked to have had a green arrow this week, as we would have been trotting on quite nicely, but I do think with 3 game weeks left to happen in this FPL season, we can still make that rank a lot better. But 54 points overall, let's see where those points came from. So starting off in goal with Martinez with a lovely 3 points, not so lovely considering I had a little bit more of an expectation for Arsenal because of how badly Spurs have played. But you know that Arsenal defense, they kind of gifted Son a one-on-one there with that first Spurs goal, and then the header was a good header. I don't think Martinez could have done much against that, but I will be keeping hold of Martinez. They have a tough fixture up next against Liverpool, but then the next 2 are quite profitable in my opinion. So with Martinez has played really well since Bernd Leno's been off injured, so I'm really happy with him, and he's going nowhere at 4.2 million. I was really happy with the save point as well. As I always say, at this stage of the season, every single point counts, and with every single point counting, the point I didn't want was Alexander-Arnold. Came off the bench, conceded. The main reason being why I'm a little bit annoyed with Alexander-Arnold is he blocked the Sai's 6 points. Now that decision can only come down to myself, as I did kind of think that Alexander-Arnold was going to be rotated, but I never was going to bench him as he just has such good potential. I thought maybe if he was benched he wouldn't play the entire game, but that didn't happen. He came off the bench for the last, I think, 20 or 30 minutes, and as you know, he conceded in that time, so only the 1 point for him. And then with Doherty, 6 points, lovely returns again, but with Doherty, he's too expensive for what he's returning. We haven't had an attacking return in a couple of game weeks now, so 6 points is good, but I mean, I could have just played Sai's and saved that cash on him. So I'm hoping Doherty, with these nice Wolves upcoming fixtures, does manage to get an attacking return, but at least he's getting a clean sheet, and Wolves are holding those clean sheets quite well. Then we have Aurier, Serge Aurier with only the 1 point. Did kind of have a couple of mistakes in that Arsenal fixture, but I think we always knew that with Serge Aurier. He's not the most concrete defender, but he does like to get forward, and that's kind of why I played him, because I thought that Spurs-Arsenal game was going to be quite cagey. Maybe needed a fullback to run up and assist or score a goal. We have seen Aurier has that potential, but unfortunately it wasn't like that in this game. Then the midfield, a little bit quieter than last game week. We had some good performers, such as Martial with 13 points, so well done to those of you who did captain him. A really nice captain there. De Bruyne with 3 points, relatively quiet after that Man City performance where they absolutely stomped Brighton. So a little bit unusual to see De Bruyne not getting any attacking returns there. But as I said in the preview for Game Week 36, you kind of just have De Bruyne because everyone has him. So you want to kind of block those points off. Salah with 2 points, which I don't know how he managed to only get 2 points, because he had at least about 4 shots on target that he should have scored, especially right at the death. He had a nice ball across from Trent Alexander-Arnold that he managed to shoot straight at Nick Pope, who had a very good game to be said. But that would have been a massive point swing. Imagine an Alexander-Arnold assist and a Salah goal when everyone took him out for Sterling. So I was a little bit disappointed with that, and overall with Liverpool's performance. They haven't really been hitting the field running at the moment and haven't looked up to their sharp self, but I'm pretty sure against Arsenal they still could do some damage. Then Mahrez with 6 points. I played the full 90 minutes, so maybe 6 points is a little bit underwhelming. But with that 90 minutes, obviously there is that question of will he be rotated next game week, which will be something that we cover on in the team selection. Then we had Greenwood with 2 points. I think he was largely invisible in that game. I think I saw the stats. He had 0 shots on target, 0 shots, any kind of goal involvement at all. So he could be a potential benching for this next game week. We'll be talking about Manchester United and their overall look in the team selection as well. But Greenwood is really cheap. I don't mind if he comes off the bench. Still has a lot of scoring potential. I mean, 2 game weeks ago, he probably was considered essential just because of how cheap and how well he's performing. Then we have Jamie Vardy, the player we transferred in this game week. We transferred Raul Jimenez to Vardy, which was a move that basically cancelled each other out, which is a little bit disappointing. I was hoping Vardy did a little bit more. Obviously, we had that whole training picture, a saga before the game week's deadline where apparently he wasn't pictured in training. I won't lie, that did take me off the captaincy, but I still was willing to own him as I did think he had good potential against Bournemouth. That game was completely the opposite of what everyone thought. Bournemouth went out and smashed Leicester. Obviously, they did have that red card, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it was a little bit stupid from Sionku. But Vardy managed to convert that kind of scrappy chance, but he is getting those shots on target and those big chances. So if you do own him, I think that he could still get some returns in the upcoming future. I spoke about Saiss on the bench, 6 points. Not too angry as I always was going to play Aurier and Alexander-Arnold over him, but it would have been nice to have those points in kind of a low-scoring game week. And then Lascelles with 0 points, and then Connolly with only the 1 point. So let's get on and look at the transfers we are considering. So the transfers I'm probably going to be doing this week, I confirmed it on my Twitter page last night because Jesus was increasing in price. I didn't make the move, but I said if you couldn't afford him after the price rise, please do that move today. Because I had 0.1 in the bank, I was willing to wait the night and take the price rise on the chin and then just hope for some press conference news that will give us some clarification on our transfers. But I don't think there's going to be too much of that today. So Vardy to Jesus is probably going to be the move. I just favor that Man City attack. I think even if Jesus gets benched, he can come off the bench, and you've seen what City are like. They're scoring 5 goals. I think this is the second game week in a row now that they've scored plus 4 goals. So they look to be in great form, really hitting that stride in the goal department. Even their defense looks quite good, but I think I always favor the attack from Man City when they're scoring 5 goals. So that's why I'm looking at Jesus. Vardy still has a good fixture against Sheffield United. As you know, a Sheffield Wednesday fan, so he could be looking to score in that one probably. But I just think at this stage of the season, I want to be looking at the better players, the better teams, and maybe a more guaranteed amount of points. I also said if you don't have any money, we'll be talking about that in the team selection, so that's what we're going to be doing now. So no, I've not gone crazy. I'm not doing Vardy to Vardy. That's simply, if you don't have the money for Jesus, I would simply just hold Vardy, or what I would do is I would take him to Ings. Ings has 2 nice fixtures coming up. Southampton look to be in great form, and you know what that means. When Southampton are in form and Danny Ings is in form, that's going to equal some FPL points. So I'd be looking at Danny Ings as a transfer. If you're still holding Raul Jimenez, that's the move I would do as well. Raul Jimenez to Danny Ings, as I'll probably be doing Danny Ings next game week. I just favor Jesus against Bournemouth, and I'm hoping that he can get something there. So if you don't have any money, I would just keep Vardy, or I would go to Ings. So this is how the team selection is looking for Game Week 36. No, I will not be captaining Vardy. Vardy is just a placeholder there for Jesus. As I said, I've not made that move yet. I am recording this on Tuesday morning. I'm waiting for the press conferences. So if those press conferences have happened when I upload this video, just check down in the comments below. I've probably listed my final team and my captaincy if I'm not going to be having a deadline stream. Otherwise, we'll just cover it in the stream. But starting off in goal with Martinez against Liverpool, not really hoping for anything here. Only thing I'm hoping for is some save points, as that means that Liverpool are at least having some shots at target. And then Alexander-Arnold against Arsenal. Usually this game is quite high scoring. Both sides tend to score, so maybe Alexander-Arnold can get an attacking return, but I definitely do think he's going to play in this one. I think he'll play from now to the end of the season, because I don't think Klopp is going to throw Neco Williams into the deep end there against Arsenal and Chelsea. So I don't think we have to worry about too much rotation there. Doherty against Burnley. I could play Saiss as well. That's a relatively good fixture though, but Burnley have been looking a lot better. I think that game will be quite a close one, but it seems like the close games, it either tips to a 1-0 to Wolves or the other team. So that's going to be an interesting final 10 minutes to see. Then Serge Aurier, obviously we have heard the news of the shooting of his brother, which is terrible news, so my condolences to him and his family. I will probably not be starting Serge Aurier. I just have him in the team here to respect his position. I don't think he will be playing this game, understandably, but we will see maybe if Spurs come out. You do sometimes get players that kind of want to distract themselves from the situation that they're in, so they go out there and they put in a good shift. So with Aurier, we're just going to have to see, but obviously there's no kind of pressure on him to start, and we'll take his decision in our stride. And then going on to the midfield, we have Mahrez and De Bruyne against that Bournemouth side. Now that Bournemouth side still have a shout at getting out of the relegation zone, so they're going to be trying their best to this one, but I do believe that they have to win to kind of get out that zone. So they're going to be attacking a lot, and I think that that's going to be a perfect combination for that Man City attack. I mean, if you're pressing Man City, they're just going to hit you on that counter attack, which maybe if Mahrez does start could be quite fortuitous for him because of his pace, but otherwise De Bruyne can get those balls in behind. Then we have Salah against Arsenal. Now I think Salah will start in this one. I don't really understand why he would be starting against Burnley and then not against Arsenal. And I think with that golden boot race, Mo Salah's always in it, so he's going to be wanting to score some goals. He can be quite a frustrating player to own, but hopefully against Arsenal he's a pleasure. And Fernandes, Martial and Greenwood. So I spoke about why with Man United, what I think about them, and overall I thought that United looked quite tired yesterday against Southampton. In those final 20 minutes, I think Fernandes was basically not even running anymore because he was so tired. I think we're seeing the implications of a really tough lockdown season where we have game week after game week, and if players are playing 90 minutes each game week, they're going to show that fatigue, and I think that's what we saw with Fernandes. Martial looked quite good, was continuously running even at the end of the game, so he could be someone that you look at for a captaincy, but definitely with Fernandes, I do think he'll get 60 minutes this week, but then get taken off with that FA Cup fixture in mind. With Greenwood, I'm pretty sure he will start. He was substituted yesterday, so I do believe he will start, and as I said, he's always got that potential, only needs one shot to score, and that's why I'm still going to be playing him. And then obviously Vardy will become Jesus, and that's who I'm leaning towards on the captaincy. I do think Mahrez could see some bench appearances for the next couple game weeks, so I think off the bench I'm perfectly fine with that, but then I generally want my captain to play a little bit more than 30 minutes. On the bench, I spoke about Saiss, he probably will be coming off the bench, and then Lascelles against Tottenham and Connolly against Southampton, probably not going to see, but at least I have a playing bench if there is any rotation with that FA Cup in mind. So last point we're going to be talking about is captaincy. If we don't have a deadline stream, this will be quite an important talking point. So my three favorite teams to look at are Manchester United, Manchester City and Liverpool. So with United, I don't know if I'd be looking at Fernandes. He looked a little bit tired, so I do think he'll be rested, whether that is 60 minutes and then a bench, or from the start and then comes on in the last 30. But I do think Manchester United has a really good fixture. Crystal Palace have been absolutely atrocious since that lockdown period came back. So I do think United will score a couple there. So you're going to be looking at the likes of maybe a Rashford, a Martial, a Greenwood maybe, but I think I would stick to those previous two. Fernandes is though a safe option that you could look at if you want to kind of just go for safety. But I do think elsewhere there are better options. Man City, obviously against Bournemouth, the three options that I'm looking at are Jesus, Foden and Sterling. You could also go for David Silva. I think David Silva and Foden are guaranteed to start, whereas Jesus and Sterling, they could be rested, could be playing. It's yet to kind of be seen. Hopefully in the press conference, Pep Guardiola gives us a little bit of an indication of what he's leaning towards, but I think it's probably going to leave us a little bit more confused than we already were, as that is just how Pep's press conferences are. And then finally, the Liverpool assets. I do think the Liverpool assets are being a little bit overlooked, mainly because a lot of people have done Salah/Mane to Sterling, so they don't even own those assets anymore. But I think against an Arsenal defense, that's definitely a little bit leaky, and I do think that Arsenal will be making some rotational changes with that FA Cup in mind, because I don't think Arsenal have too much to play for in the Premier League at the moment. So if you factor in a bad defense with some rotation, I think that Liverpool could do well in this one. And if you're looking for a more safe option, but also a more differential option, as I don't think many people in the top 10k will be going for Salah, I definitely think Salah or Mane could be a good option to look at. So this is basically going to wrap up the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like it if you did, and subscribe if you're new or have not subscribed yet. Please check the comments down below for the confirmed team / my thoughts on the game week after watching this press conferences. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter. I will be posting the final team on there if I don't stream. Elsewise, I'll be checking you in the deadline with Dayvy stream later. I'm only signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.